I'm so thankful that he's alive. I also, my heart, and I hope you will put this in the paper because I think this is very important.
To the families of ours.
To the families of the accused, we are praying for them because this is not easy on them. We understand that sometimes our children make decisions that break our hearts. And we very much feel tremendously sad and very burdened for what they're going through at this time. And especially when Casey realized that some of these were people that he knew. They were not what we would call close friends, but they were certainly acquaintances through school. And Terrell's a small town.
I hear they didn't know that this was Casey Russell's house, you think, or were they surprised? Okay.
Oh yeah, they knew.
So they targeted this house.
We really believe that they did, and the reason we believe they did is because they had a couple of them had been.
They had to be
here.
scoping out this house to know when we were here and when we weren't here. Had to.
With no cars in the driveway, there could have been a legitimate assumption that the house was empty.
Right.
Stairs, I didn't hear them, and I didn't know anybody was here until they busted in the door. I came and walked to the top of the stairs and had a bat in my hand, and there's a shotgun right in my
I
face.
think it probably stems from the fact that a couple of them had come swim at the house with the kids and been here, and we're not wealthy by any means, but we're blessed.
Somebody come downstairs, so I come walking downstairs. Now I still have that bat in my hand, and so he kind of looks away, and I smack him with that bat a couple of times, and we start fighting up there at the stairs. And then another man runs in and puts a gun to my head, saying, "If you don't stop, I'm gonna kill you." So I said, "All right, I better stop him." And so they dragged me downstairs. They laid me on the ground. The man with the shotgun put a gun to my head, and he said, "If you move one time, I'm gonna kill you." So I said, "Okay." And they asked, "Is there anybody else in the house?" And I said, "I don't know. My little brother might be here." And my little brother might be here. So he started walking to Sean's room right in there, and I got up and I said, "You're not going in there." And he just kept walking. So I started to get up, and the man slammed me back down on the ground and put the gun to my head, saying, "If you move again, I will kill you." So I just went in. They proceeded to tie me up, and then they tied my feet, they tied my hands, and they tied me to the chair in there, and they just started stealing stuff. They all had bandanas on.
Okay.
They had camouflage on, black shirts, long sleeve, police uniforms, looking stuff on. It was all. I guess, like, as soon as I got to the car, I broke out of the duct tape.
Okay.
And I ran upstairs. I wasn't tied up for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Fortunately, they didn't kill me.
Definitely.
Well, no, my adrenaline was running, so like it all happened so fast I didn't have time to be scared. Yeah, when they picked me up from right here, they started taking me into there. I could look back. I saw it was a green truck.
Like pickup or SUV?
It was a small green pickup truck, single cab. Wasn't big at all.
So all 5 of them were in there?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Went to school with Casey Minshew, Michael Nelson, and Diamond Gibbs.
Yeah, Casey's a joker. He'll call us and he'll say things like, "Got a cow out here that is raising for FFA."
She didn't care. She's all like,
So,
learning.
hey, the cow kicked me in the face, and and so
yeah,
when he does that, we have to say, "Now, Casey, you tell the truth." "I'm telling the truth. Don't you believe me?" This time it was very different. There was a panicked anger in his voice. Yet the story he was telling sounds just like something Casey would make up. "Dad, 5 men broke into the house with guns and they tied me up and they burglarized our house. Dad, we've been robbed."
It's kind of like what you see in a movie.
And so while the words he was saying sounded like a made up story that Casey would trick us, the sound of his voice let me know that
Wasn't the case. Yeah.
he's pretty good, but he ain't got nothing. I think I said, "Casey, are you serious?" And, "Dad, I'm very serious. Dad, we've been robbed." And I said, "Well, have you called 911? "Yes, I've called 911. I said, "Well, I'm two minutes from the house. I'm on my way home. And when I got here, Casey was sitting outside. I pulled in the driveway. The door was still wide open where they'd kicked it in. And Casey was sitting in the driveway, and he had blood on one hand, and he had blood on his arm. His face was red and a little swollen on the right side, and he was holding the baseball bat that he had used to defend himself. I called 911 again and told them, that I was at the house. And that's when 911 informed me that they were in pursuit of the suspect's vehicle.
Because he'd already given the description when he called.
He gave him the description. When they threw him in the floor right here, and he probably, but when they threw him in the floor, this door where they kicked in, this door was open, and he had the wherewithal to look and see the vehicle and to count the number of people that he was up against. I mean, I'm very proud of Casey for keeping his head together enough to think, I need to know what they're driving, and I need to see what color their skin is, and so he was able to give a good description when he called in, and that description is what allowed the vehicle to be spotted. Casey said they spent most of their time upstairs, so I went upstairs and just started looking, waiting on the police to arrive. And to be honest with you, I still couldn't tell you everything that was taken. They had kind of ransacked, and there was no way of really knowing for sure. I think my wife actually just noticed last evening something that was missing. So it'll probably be a few days before we honestly know. Now, Casey said when they were leaving, he tried to look and see what they had in their hand. Casey said they were here about 10 minutes. And then he was able to get loose from the chair that they had taped him into, but he hopped upstairs because he knew he had a pocket knife upstairs, and he hopped upstairs and took the pocket knife and was able to cut his hands and feet free and call 911 pretty fast. And I'm very thankful that Casey realized when he was outmanned that he didn't continue to try to fight until he was afraid that they were going to get his little brother. Casey didn't know his little brother was not here. And when
How old's your brother?
11.
11. Wow.
And he normally would have been here along with possibly my daughter, who's 10. But they had gone to a school function at the Wood. And it was a science, what was it? Science camp. And they had gone to science camp, and that's how come they weren't home. Nothing materialistically is irreplaceable.
Right. Yeah.
And but my son is irreplaceable.
Definitely.
And so we just are so grateful to God that he was able to celebrate his 17th birthday yesterday.